So today we're going to start a new topic. It's called audience assessment. Why is it important? First, our learning objectives. What we are going to learn from this particular slide. Understand the concept and importance of audience assessment in presentations. And then we will explore the types of information presenters can gather. Then we'll go for the profiling. Profiling means you bring out the attributes of a particular thing. That means profiling. All right. And then we determine the ways to use the profile for an effective presentation. So then that particular knowledge of my from gathered about the audience will help me prepare an effective presentation. And then customize and calibrate your presentation to match the pulse of the audience. Pulse of the audience will give you how they are prepared or how are they able to accept your whatever you are saying. So that's the pulse. Pulse means in the figurative sense here. That means that we are trying to understand the status, condition of a body, right? The doctors go for the pulse. That's the thing. If the pulse is slow, that means you are not really like very well. But sometimes some people, they have low blood pressure, so their pulse can also be slow. So, I mean, you get the sense, right? That you have to understand the audience in entirety মানে হচ্ছে একেবারে পুরোভাবে, so that you can match their expectation. You know them, then you know what they want. Then you customize your presentation. So that is how it works. Why should we care for the audience? In one of the previous slides, we talked about audience being the star of your show. So without the audience, you do not exist. A presenter do not present in the vacuum, right? Nobody's here, I'm presenting, I can talk my heart out. But that really doesn't help us. Because I do not have audience, or I do have an audience, but who are not really tuning to my the rhythm of my talk. আমি যা বলছি তার সাথে টিউন করতে পারছে না. So that is the same thing is going to happen for you guys too, because since I'm delivering it in English, many of you will have a bit of a problem, not so much, but a bit of a problem. That means that you're trying to understand my choice of words and what that meaning comes and the implication of the meaning. So you have to, this is a warning for you guys. Why? Because you have to give some extra attention. বাংলায় শুনলে যেভাবে তুমি ক্যাজুয়ালি শুনে এই করতে পারতা, এখানে একটু এক্সট্রা অ্যাটেনশন দিতে হবে, ঠিক আছে? বাট দিস ইজ ফর your betterment. এটাতে যেটা হবে, your listening part will become much better. And that is really needed. So that's the thing. So the action of audience assessment really makes you gather knowledge or information about your audience, what they want, what they need, and what is their values and what is their attitude. Attitude meaning that a particular way of looking at things. You may have a casual attitude. Casual meaning, oh, whatever. The other day I was in the exam hall with students of BBA and textile engineering. So what happened, one guy, he came in late, one student, and he was sitting and he was trying to look over the person in front of him. So I said, no, you cannot do that. You have to change seat. So I kind of changed his seat. And he said, okay, no chill. And I was like, the thing is that this is called attitude. Like you take everything very easy. Like, oh, okay, I'm in the exam hall. If I can look over the shoulder of my classmate, I can copy him. Or if I cannot do that, that's also okay. So that is a very easy attitude. So what happens is that when you are going to talk to your audience, if your audience thinks in that manner, then it's a problem for you. Because what is the ultimate goal of your presentation? You are trying to get a message across. Across মানে আমি একটা message পৌঁছানোর চেষ্টা করছি. So if they do not take it seriously, then it's a problem. Because I won't be successful, even if I try really hard. So that's a problem. So you have to guess or anticipate মানে হচ্ছে ধারণা করা আগে থেকে. Anticipate that attitude from the very beginning, before even you deliver that particular presentation. And that means it makes it an audience-centered approach. Audience-centric তোমাকে approach নিতে হবে যেটা that will enhance the presenter's effectiveness to create and deliver a presentation that is appropriate for the chosen audience. You have an audience, you know all about them, then you are better able to make your presentation that suits their need. বুঝতে পারলাম? So you have an audience, you know that how they react and how they take your messages, so you can craft your words. You can carefully choose the way, the sequence you want to present with. So that is the advantage. And it really makes you speak their language. Why? If I'm making a presentation now, but in my mind, constantly there is a warning going on. What is that warning? That is saying that try to choose the words that your students understand. Because if I use some words that you guys do not have any idea of, or I'm choosing some jargon মনে আছে? Terminology. যে কোনো word পরিভাষা. So if I choose any difficult word, so you see my brain is working overworking now, and it's working like I'm at the same time I'm trying to deliver a message, and at the same time I have to try to make it easy for you to understand. So that's a double whammy, meaning double work you're doing. Okay, but this is worth it. So the more I do it, the better I become, and that's what happened in the past years that I have started teaching. Since the beginning of my teaching career, I have been trying this hard, very, very hard. So if I see an audience like of teachers like me, then I will probably go at my normal pace. I will talk in different terminologies or jargon that they can also understand. But whenever it comes to someone that are younger, they have less knowledge or less vocabulary, so you have to be very, very careful in choosing your words so that they can understand. So, and once you understand the nature of their knowledge, you can then calibrate. Calibrate মানে হচ্ছে উপর নিচ করা. Calibrate your actions, calibrate your performance. So what happens then, you can also avoid something that is not applicable for this particular audience. Okay. So this basically sums up our particular objective, that you have to gain the knowledge of your audience. You have to know their attributes. Attributes we know from our programming experience, right? Programming courses experience. Attributes means it actually describes some object, the characteristics of some object. So you know the audience's attributes, then you can really make your message appropriate for them. Appropriate বুঝি তো না আমরা সবাই? Appropriate যথাযথ, মানে একেবারে ওই রকম তার জন্য যা দরকার। So and it's a kind of a poetic word. Weave মানে কি আমরা জানি? বোনা, কাপড় বোনা। So এটা কেন poetic word? কি হচ্ছে যে you become, once you know your audience, you become an artist. Artist means you have your creative way. Creative কেন বলছি? যে it has to be different than that of others. You do in a certain way, others will do a different way. So when an artist does something, that is like he is doing it some new ways, novel ways. Novel, I mean, I could not try it. I could not actually, novel মনে আছে আমরা বলেছিলাম কিন্তু প্রথম একটা দুইটা ক্লাসে novel হচ্ছে এটা উপন্যাস না, it means ব্যতিক্রমী, something different. So an artist actually delivers his creation in a novel way.
Exceptional way.
Yeah, that's also a good synonym. So, all right. So look at the picture here. We have a magnifying glass, and that glass is being pointed at your audience. So that means what? When do we use a magnifying glass? When we're trying to get a closer look of something, right? I mean, I might need some magnifying glass because I have seen my grandfather. He used to read newspapers using magnifying glasses. You can also have a glass spectacle. But that means what? That you are bringing it closer. So when you are looking to your audience with a magnifying glass, that means you are trying to get closer to them. You're trying to view them more clearly. So by recognizing and adapting, adapt মানে কি? Capcom. So you know their level of understanding, so you then try to adapt to that. And you're also trying to understand their values and interests. Values, that means that the way a particular person looks at the world. You interpret, because say something happened, not that many people will look the same way towards it. Let's talk about Mr. Motiur, the guy who stole millions, and his I would say foolish son caused the trouble for him just by exposing. He thought that yes, I have bought a goat, a so expensive goat, so it will boost my image. But that poor guy did not understand that this would bring out the things one after another. So when we are trying to, why am I talking about the values? So that guy's value is that, well, my father stole, so this is nothing. This is really normal. But not every one of us think in that manner, right? I mean, stealing is always bad, unless you have some moral breaks. Breaks, বুঝি তো? Break কি করে? It stops the car. So you have a moral break, meaning একটা নীতিবোধের একটা break তোমার আছে, যেটা তোমাকে crime করতে বাধা দেয় বা দুর্নীতি করতে বাধা দেয়. So value is something like that. That you have to have some value when you are among the fellow citizens or in a society. You have to have some value. So a presenter, say I'm talking to some person, some say prisoners in a prison. So what would happen? I have to be very, very careful that their values, I mean, it also depends. The more they are inside the prison, in the States, the prison is called, we call it jail in Bangladesh, right?
Yep.
But they call it correctional facility. Why? That's I mean, you can say it a euphemistic word. Euphemistic মানে হচ্ছে কোন একটা জিনিসকে খুব positively দেখানো, হ্যাঁ, euphemistic. So they are calling it correctional facility. That means that particular individual who's in jail, he performed or he did something bad. Now we are trying to correct him by keeping him or her aloof মানে হচ্ছে আলাদা করে, মানে isolated করে, society থেকে isolate করে তাকে এক জায়গায় রেখে we are trying to improve him or her. So that is why this is called correctional facility. But once they are in that correctional facility for the first time, you see, we see in the movies a lot of young black guys, they committed a crime or shoplifting most of the time. I mean, when you any urban area, America in any urban area, whenever you go and if there is a less employment, that makes you prone to crimes. You have no earnings. Now you see a lot of things are in front of you, so you will have a tendency, because the way they were brought up, especially the poor, especially if you go to slums মানে বস্তি, these children, they grow up without being monitored or without being supervised by their parents. Both the parents work, because they have to work, as they are being poor, so they have to work for earning it, for surviving. So what happens? They leave their kids home, and those kids are running around, doing whatever they feel like doing. So what happens? They're not going to school. So school is a social institution that puts values in you. Whatever values you have, you get from either from your family, from your religious denomination. Religious denomination মানে হচ্ছে তুমি কি মাদ্রাসা অথবা মন্দির অথবা চার্চ এগুলোতে রেগুলার যাচ্ছ কি যাচ্ছ না, বা মসজিদে রেগুলার যাচ্ছ কি যাচ্ছ না. So that influences your mindset, the way you look at world, the way you judge different things. It influences very much. These kids are not going to schools, and they're growing up like that. They do not have father or mother present there to look after them. So they have a twisted value. So most of them feel this is okay to commit a crime. So in the advanced countries, they say these are juvenile crime. Juvenile মানে কি? কিশোর অপরাধ. So juvenile crime কে করা যাবে আমাদেরও আছে in Tongi, I guess, a juvenile correctional facility. But that is কয়েকদিন আগে খবর হলো না যে this was run very inefficiently. So many teenagers, they just fled from that facility. Why? Because they were not treated equally, or they were not treated very fairly. So what happens
once you grow up like that, and you do not have that much value in you. So if I'm a presenter and I know that, then I will have to talk in a special way. I have to make them understand. That's why I was saying that if you are talking to some prisoners who just entered the jail, because that means what? They have that crime attitude, that criminal attitude inside them. So once you want to, because when you are talking about some moral things like values, if you talk to normal people, it is easier for you because they most likely they will also have the same values as you. But if you're talking to a bunch of criminals, then it becomes difficult for you to convince them that this is wrong. Okay, so and what is happening now? I mean, in my class, many of the times I also refer to the bigger society. So that is what is happening in our society. That being criminal or being corrupt really doesn't make you that shameful. You say that, well, yeah, everyone is doing it. So if I do it, I'll become rich. So why not do it? So that is changing attitude. So that's what I'm saying. That when you are, if you can gather knowledge about your audience, that most of them are thinking in this manner, then you are in big trouble. So you have to craft your craft মানে হচ্ছে ওইভাবে সাজানো বা ওইভাবে ই করা এটাকে ওইভাবে organize করা so that you have to be more than you have to talk in a better or more organized way to convince them rather than what you do to your normal people. আমার কথাটা বুঝতে পেরেছো যে তাদের সাথে কথা বলতে হলে you have to be more convincing কারণ নর্মাল পিপল যেটাকে খুব সহজে নিয়ে নেয় তারা ওটা নেবে না তাদের কাছে তাদের somehow তাদের ওই ব্রেকের মোরাল ব্রেকসটা অনেক নিচে তারা এটাকে মানে অন্যের জিনিস স্টিল করা বা একটা ক্রাইম করা they don't really feel bad about it. So that is why understanding the vibe of your audience is very, very important. And it also lets you choose appropriate examples. Appropriate examples why? এই যে আমি মতিউরের কথা বললাম হ্যাঁ all of you know him because he is a contemporary sensation. Everyone is like, say, oh, Motihur, in YouTube and everywhere in the social media. So that is an appropriate example. So you have to know, that means that the presenter has to live in the current times. You cannot really give some examples from 300 years ago. Like, you know, when the British was colonizing Bengal, you are citing some example from there, but your audience is like, what is he saying about? I don't know this event. What took place in Bengal? Let me tell you a story. During the colonization of the British, what happened? People as young as you would come to Bengal for a £5 salary per year. পুরো বছরে 5 pound তাকে মাত্র দেওয়া হতো ঠিক আছে East India Company used to employ these guys but why would they come? They knew that if I go to Bengal, it's a very rich society, I can steal right and left, then I can go back and have a good life in England. And in England they used to call these guys Nawabs because they brought back so much wealth from India to England. So this is an example, maybe I could pull it off very easily. I thought that they could appropriately give but this would have been difficult for me too.
When you are trying to cite an example from past, you have to be very, very careful that your audience, they're living in the current times, whether they understand it or not. So that is a challenge. And also, when you use appropriate example, what are you doing actually? You are coming down to their level. You have a common ground. Common ground means same level on the mental level same. So we are working in the same level. So that makes it easier to exchange ideas. Do you remember from the second slide when we're talking about communication between two persons? So that means that all these attributes, they have to align. Align, mone ache? What is the meaning of align? Same level at your level. So even if I'm older than you guys, I'm more experienced, but I have to somehow come down to your level to make something make it understandable to you. So that is a challenge for me, definitely. But if I do not do that, there will be two different words. You guys are like, you do not understand what I'm saying, and I'm like going on babbling, talking. It really does not produce any good result. All right. We call, when you are trying to gain knowledge from your audience, we call it profiling. And that profiling many a times depends on your demographic information of the audience. What is the demographic information? It means different factors such as gender, age, religion, ethnicity, class, occupation, education, group membership, and countless other categories. When we're living in a society, we can categorize people. We can categorize people in terms of different qualities, in terms of different characteristics. All these characteristics are together called demographics. So when you know that someone is talking about demographic information, especially what happens during the census. Census mone ache? Census ki? Adum shumai. How many years after in Bangladesh? Probably 10 years after.
10 years.
10 years. After 10 years, you go to many people. Yes, Ayman. Can you share what you are thinking? So you should not make it loud, because you should not think loud. Okay. So when you have a census, what happened? Your people go. Some volunteers, they go to house and gather some information, right? And that information all together gives you an idea of a particular society, like how's their financial status, how are they feeling, how many people are on average in a family. It used to be like that we used to have a family of 7 or 8 or 9, 11 children. Now it has come down to 3, 4. So that is a change. So unless we took any surveys, we would not get this information, that change in the number of members in a particular society, in a family. I would like to request you, if you think that you are not understanding, please raise your hand and tell me to stop, and I'll try to explain it in a more simple way. Okay? It is your right to ask me. I don't mind at all. Okay? All right, so let's look at these different categories. When you are talking about age, you know that if your audience is 55 years old, or most of them are around 70s, then you would talk to them in a way. When they are all, say, in their 20s, like you guys, then I would talk in a different way. So that means knowing their age makes me change my style of presentation. All right. And what happens? There is also some generational. দেখে age বোঝা যায় না. Well, when you are gathering information, you are not only looking, you are actually asking that guy, or you are. You can provide now. We gathering information, so that works in that manner. You can give them any kind of form, Google form, like I will be presenting day after tomorrow. Please fill out this Google form. Maybe I can say if someone comes here from outside to talk about software architecture. So he or she should actually tell us, request us, the department or the teachers, that what are the ages of the students, or what are their knowledge level? Are they second year students, or they are final year students? So that's how you can understand that, yes, this is the group I'll be talking to. So what happens that these changes in different, changes in age actually lets you understand the generational identities. Generational identity মানে হচ্ছে প্রজন্মের যে চেহারা. You guys are mostly, I think, millennials, or no, Gen Z. Gen Z বুঝো? আমি বলি না এটা নিয়ে কথা বলেছিলাম তো। Gen Z হচ্ছে যারা 2003 পর থেকে যারা they were born, or 2000, around 2000, after 2000. 2000 এর আগে যারা, they are called millennials. So what happens? Listen to me. So what happens when you know that you will be talking to Gen Zs, generation Zs, you will try to relate to them by citing examples that they understand. So that is the objective of knowing the knowledge. Gender. So gender is also a very strong issue. Why? All women do not like sports, right? I mean, all women meaning I said that not all women likes. Probably most of them. These days, there is also when we were at your age, in those days, Pakistan would come play in our Dhaka Stadium. The cricket team would come. You could find very little number of women there. Probably 1 or 2%. If it happens now, you'll probably have 30 to 40%, or maybe 50%. I don't think so. Probably 30 to 40% still. So having a particular gender has a certain influence on your liking something. So that is why you want to know the gender. Religion definitely is a way, because what happens is that I will use some current examples, as I always do. If you go to America, there are some Christian people who are helping Israel. I'm not talking about the state of United States, the government. I'm not talking about the government. In the religious, these guys are called evangelical Christians. Mom, are you a Christian or? Oh, okay. So you not, because there are many tribal people there also, Christians, especially around Mamoon, right? So what happened is that these very conservative Christians, they they know something about Armageddon. Armageddon কথাটা কার জানা আছে? It is like the turmoil right before Qiyamah. It is called Armageddon.
Is it conservative?
Conservative Christians, meaning they are very religious Christian. They do not declare only that I'm a Christian. They also go to church. They think they follow Bible, New Testament very closely.
যারা হচ্ছে মানে ধর্মীয় দিক থেকে খুব বেশি ধর্মীয় কিন্তু তারা তো হচ্ছে ইসরায়েলের সাথে সমর্থন করার কথা না।
Yes, that is the natural way. But these guys, they think that the end is near. So Armageddon is coming, and when Armageddon comes, Isaiah will come. Jesus Christ will come and save us. So we have to make sure that the sooner it happens, the sooner we'll be free. The sooner we can go to heaven. So that's how they think. So that's why they have a tourism kind of thing. They take Christian people from United States and they take them to Israel, and then they say, I have seen a video of that. They show that these are the area, Sinai and Jerusalem. Here the battle will be fought. There will be lots of killing, and they know that it is also predicted that lots of Jews will be killed. But they said, well, this is happening and we can go to heaven very fast, so let it roll, let it happen. So that is how. That's why I'm talking about religion. That religion has a very profound effect on people. Your audience, it's better that you should know about the religious attitude of your audience. Say some people, very religious, they don't believe, think about Raja Rammohan Rai. When it was really very conservative Hindu time, what happened? They did not allow the widows to get married. এটা তো আমরা হিস্ট্রিতে পড়েছি তাই না, বিধবা বিবাহ এসব ছিল না। And they used to have a very cruel thing, সতীদাহ প্রথা, right? So think now, imagine when Raja Rammohan Rai had a problem. What was the problem Raja Rammohan Rai had? Ayman? এটা তো হিস্ট্রিতে আমরা পড়েছি তাই না, যে রাজা রামমোহন রায় সতীদাহ প্রথা বন্ধ করতে চেয়েছিলেন। So what sort of problem he had to preach, right? He had to preach মানে হচ্ছে লোকজনকে বলা, কনভিন্স করা, চেষ্টা করা এগুলো। So definitely he had a problem, right? That is the influence of the religion. So you are trying to make people, convince people to see something in a new way that is contradictory to your old ways, the way you believe. And you have to change your attitude. You have to change your religious way of looking at things. So that is the essence of the importance of religion. So it doesn't mean that you have to always cater to them. Cater মানে কি? তাদেরকে সার্ভ করতে হবে সবসময় এমন না যে you were talking to, say, the other day I was also talking about early marriage, right? So there are probably still areas in Bangladesh where people, religious Muslim people, they still think that yes, early marriage is good. But we know from science this is not good. Because what happens once a girl is getting married early, it really creates hazards for physical hazards, mental hazards, educational hazard. If you have a child when you are 12 years old, how can you go to school? So you have to convince people, but many religious people believe that it doesn't matter. The women, they do not have to go to school. They will.
স্যার এটা তো ধর্মীয় দিক থেকে হচ্ছে এমন না যে আমাদের স্কুলে
বলা হয়েছে, হ্যাঁ,
এরকম না,
Yes.
কিন্তু কিছু হচ্ছে যারা হচ্ছে অনেকে ইচ্ছা করে নিজের মতবাদ ছাপিয়ে দেয় মানুষের উপর।
Right. Especially religious leaders in those areas.
তাদের নিজেদের সাথে
হ্যাঁ।
থাকবে।
So they are saying something about, yes, they are making it look like this has been ordained by religion. Ordained মানে কি? কারো জানা আছে? নির্দেশ, ordained. Can someone tell me what time it is? 13 after 11.
বারোটা ছাত্র।
অর্ডেইন মানে হচ্ছে কোনো কিছু নির্দেশ এসছে উপর থেকে বা কোথাও এক জায়গা থেকে এসছে, হ্যাঁ। So these people they make it look like they were ordained by some higher authority, God or Allah, that yes, women should live in this manner. Women cannot go to places where if he or she is not accompanied by mahram. এরকম কথা আছে না? In Saudi Arabia, they did not let the women drive. Now, MSB, Mohammed bin Salman, he kind of let them, but he is also going the other way, which is not good either. So you understand the audience's view of religion is also important, especially when you are going to talk about some social change. যারা এই যে বিভিন্ন এনজিওতে কাজ করে, when they go and talk about planning a family using contraceptives and all those things, family planning, the local religious leader in the early 70s and 80s in Bangladesh, they used to drive these social workers out of the village. That happened. বুঝাতে পারছি আমি? But this is not happening now. I mean, people have understood that yes, there is a need for family planning. You cannot have lots of child, then the mother's health gets deteriorated, and it's a burden for the family also. These sort of things. So, I think I have given enough examples, right? So. So, talking about education. So, it also, I mean, if you are talking to someone, some people, say you have to give some presentation to the bus drivers of Dhaka City. You have to give some, I will have this sort of questions also. I have given also in the exam, right? Say you have to prepare a presentation for the bus drivers of Dhaka City on safe driving. So you will have a huge problem making them understand. Because when you go through schools let you have the knowledge that yes, driving safe is good for everyone. But these guys, they are in a condition that the more trips they can make, the more money they can make. So they say, hell with the safety thing, let's earn some money. And that's what's happened. A few days, yesterday, one bus just flipped over because he was driving very fast on a slippery road. It was raining very, so it is really dangerous. So they wanna make, I mean, like competing with each other. But how do you understand? How do you make them realize that this is dangerous? They will understand, but you have to be very, very articulate. You have to, yes, you have to make them understand very patient. So that's where the education level comes. Next, occupation. Occupation means pesha. If you are in a certain occupation, your interest centers around it. বুঝাতে পারলাম? তুমি একটা পার্টিকুলার পেশায় থাকলে সেই পেশার উপর ভিত্তি করে তোমার চয়েস অফ ইন্টারেস্ট ডিপেন্ডস। হ্যাঁ, তুমি if you are a software engineer, so most likely you will mingle with people, mingle মানে মেশা, mingle with people with the same interests. If you are a say cricket lover, so you have gone to a place where people are unknown to you, but you want to be friends with them, so you start talking about cricket and you say that there is a bond going, bond is মানে একটা বন্ধন তৈরি হয়ে গেল। So that means the occupation also is very important in choosing the your demographic information. Then we come to psychological information, or we can wait for this for the next class. Let's go for the presentation now. Okay? Please someone stop the video.